Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our evening edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. We are now at the point where nominations have happened. This is probably not big surprise for everyone on Big Brother 22. There's no surprise with the nominations based on who the HOH is.
There is no surprises in Big Brother 22, but we are still here until the wheels fall off.
A couple of those wheels are a little bit rickety at this point, but
That's all right. We're here for it.
We're still here driving the clown car because David is no longer here to do it.
Oh, no.
We're going to talk about nominations, what's going on. We're doing this immediately after, so any fallout or anything else we'll get to a little bit more this weekend.
Yeah.
But before we talk about this, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you do want to support us more, check those links to the store as well as our Patreon.
Also, if you guys didn't know, we are also covering The Boys. So we've got our latest review up on that.
Yeah, that's really, really fun.
That's a great show. If you're not watching it, you should definitely be watching it.
It is a very different tone sometimes than Big Brother, I will say that.
Dark sense of humor, guys.
Dark sense of humor. Well, maybe you have to have a dark sense of humor to get into Big Brother 22 at this point.
It's true. All right, let's talk about these nominations. Yeah. I'm sure it's probably not too surprising that it's Tyler and it's Christmas. I mean, we've got Cody as the HOH. He's working with Enzo. Enzo's not going up. Memphis isn't going up. Nicole's not going up. This was really kind of the only way that it was going to go.
Yeah, and he has such an easy excuse for doing this at this point. And it goes back to that David vote in the triple where it's David versus Nicole. Tyler and Christmas vote one way. And, because there's always all this footage that's happening while the triple's going on, and there's commercial breaks, and we don't see everything. There may be conversations within all that we don't have the fullest sort of context of, and maybe Sunday's show will illuminate it, but it's still not 1,000% clear to me as to why Tyler and Christmas did what they did and voted in that way.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. Like, it feels like they must have thought that they had another vote, like maybe Enzo or somebody, that somebody told them something that made them think, okay, we're going to do this, and then they just got screwed over.
It's really interesting. I think that's a one word to describe it, watching Tyler and Christmas today try to justify this, because Christmas, it sort of sounds as though she thinks it was like some act of God that made her come in and magically vote to evict Nicole, that like almost she saw someone blink the wrong way or do the wrong thing, or maybe she misinterpreted. And it's like, it is like a, one of those big comical scrolls that people drop with all the stuff. That is the list of Christmas's excuses other than taking responsibility.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, this is a good time to pull out a really good lie and be like, I did this because, so-and-so told us that this is where everything was going to go, and we wanted to go along with what the house was. Throw somebody else under the bus. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be convincing.
Yeah, I think both Tyler and Christmas are going for sort of it was a miscommunication sort of angle, or the I freaked out angle, or that we had to go in and cast our votes at a specific point. We didn't have time to talk, or like they're doing all of that sort of stuff. I mean, Cody, I guess, is accepting it about as well as somebody who's trying to play the game would. Tyler, in my mind, is better at sort of selling this stuff than Christmas is. Christmas is really, really not good at it at all.
No, Christmas and Tyler really needed to sort of come up with a really solid plan together and then just go and execute it with Tyler sort of first, lay it out, have it be believable, and that way if Christmas kind of mucks it up a little bit, it's okay because Tyler's done the groundwork, and then he can come back in and just pat it all down at the end.
I think the problem here is that we have commended Tyler and Christmas a lot this season for hiding this alliance and sort of keeping it under wraps. But because they were so good at keeping it under wraps, I don't think they had enough, real meetings to sort of plan out particular different scenarios. And now that it's kind of more out there in the open, the lines of communication aren't as great. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, and this is another one of these situations I said that was sort of Janelle and Kaser at the beginning, too, that if people think you're a duo and they're pushing you into being a duo, then you just might as well stop pretending like you guys aren't hanging out and just hang out, which is eventually what they did. And now that they're this far in the game, everybody, Tyler and Christmas is a duo. yeah, we're a duo, so we're gonna go over here and have a meeting about this, and we'll catch you guys in an hour. Like, they were down to the wire at this point.
This is the thing, is like, it was so easy with sort of Nicole and Danny to sit here and be like, okay, this is where by far they made the big mistake. It was the Ian vote. They shouldn't have done like what they did there. With Tyler and Christmas, it's a little bit more tricky, but I think in the end, this is the craziest part of this season. I think the biggest mistake everyone continued to make is not thinking that Cody and Nicole are as close as they are, and sort of thinking that all these other numbers are more flexible and that they can work their way in there. You guys had a wall yeller yell this, and you people still didn't want to believe in it.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways I understand why. I still think this goes back to Christmas playing in that safety suite and picking Ian as her +1 really made her look like she was just a free agent. We saw all kinds of people in this house that were on the outside of the alliance, even Enzo trying to work this Christmas angle like nobody really knew where she stood with anything.
She had a good bit of cover for a pretty long time, and they were able to still really work that. I mean, not as well clearly as Nicole and Cody were, because they still have been able to do things a little better, but they did a good job getting this far together. But this is the thing. They're not getting far enough where they're going to win the game. Only one of them is going to make it through this.
Maybe. I mean, you never know where the votes are going to end up landing. It just depends if one of them can pull themselves off, depending on who they're up against. I mean, it could go in either direction, I think. I mean, we're at a very important part of the game where hard decisions have to be made. So if Tyler pulls himself up and Christmas is up there, and you put up somebody else like a Memphis or an Enzo or a Nicole, is Christmas really the biggest threat? She's a good comp beast. Nobody's going to vote for her at the end. I would pull Christmas along with me.
It's true. There are a few different things that can happen, and it's interesting right now, because when we did the update this morning, Cody was 60-40 towards getting rid of Christmas. I don't know why Cody is suddenly turning into Ian with all the percentages and numbers, but here we are. And now apparently he's now 55-45 towards getting rid of Christmas. So the numbers are changing, guys.
They are changing, and maybe some of it has to do with Nicole, who's really sort of pushing all kinds of different angles of Christmas is dead to me. It's all, she's the worst person ever.
Nicole can't even make up her mind at this point.
I know.
Nicole has gone from being just a sniveling mess last night to now she's sort of feeling herself a little bit.
Yeah.
And that she's all right. Now she's just Tyler's the biggest liar I have ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Christmas is evil and terrible. It is just the piling. She is turning into Paul in Big Brother 19 with the demonization of everyone in the house.
Yeah, she is really piling on the two of them to really almost what I think she's doing is trying to just ensure that they stay on the block. That if anybody else wins a veto, I mean, they're not going to really want to take somebody off unless there's some sort of plan going on. But I think she really wants to keep it that if one of them comes off, the other one goes. That they are just the worst person that has ever lived, and they gotta go.
It's her explanation towards maybe keeping Tyler and getting rid of Christmas if they go this route. I thought this was interesting. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but she understands that Tyler is much more of a comp threat than Christmas. He's probably much more of a winner threat, but at the same time, she's sort of aware that Tyler and Memphis don't have that close a relationship, and I think she's worried that if Memphis gets the next HOH and Tyler goes this time around, who is the person not working with Memphis the most? Nicole. Nicole goes on the block in that situation.
Absolutely, and Memphis has his wise guys, right? So it's going to be Nicole. So she does need someone like Tyler to be around, and also just if Christmas stays and Christmas wins the next HOH, Nicole is done. She's going to push to get Nicole out the door like this.
Yeah, Nicole just needs to win something. Ultimately, it ensures her safety. Also, she needs something more on her resume at this point. There's too many people who just are all about comps on this season. I think that matters to this jury.
Yeah, and everyone else there except her has won stuff.
let's turn over to Memphis, everyone's favorite subject of conversation.
Yep.
He's already very much in the, Tyler's a threat, and I don't know why my Memphis gets like more and more like
Growly.
angry villain in Ozark is kind of where it's going with this, and I haven't even seen Ozark.
I was about to say, but still true.
But yeah, he's doing a good job trying to be like, I was not in on any plan to get rid of Nicole in the game. This is what he's telling Nicole anyway.
Yeah, he's doing a good job sort of trying to smooth some of that out and make her feel comfortable about everything. And, Nicole's gonna listen to something like this at this point. I know she's got some allies with Cody and stuff like that, but she doesn't have as close of a relationship with Memphis. So this is good. This is some building blocks, even though it's for right now.
It is. It's really, there's just so few numbers at this point.
Yeah,
it's like,
there is.
There's only so many different directions that you can turn. Even if Tyler does end up staying, Memphis will still probably put Nicole up. It will probably be just Tyler and Nicole, and then Nicole can hope for the best.
Yeah, she's still gonna go up, but if she's up against Christmas and it's Memphis, he does have the wise guys, and they're all in it but her.
Yeah,
Nicole.
I think the variables moving forward, it's all going to be about who wins competitions, who has the best deal at the best moment. But Tyler's reaction pre-nomination to being up there on the block, Tyler is no dummy. Let's make this very, very clear. Cody's trying to assure him that he's okay. You're going to have Enzo's vote. You're going to have Nicole's vote. And I think Tyler's probably thinking in his head, I did just vote to evict Nicole just like less than 24 hours ago. I'm a little bit I don't know why you feel so comfortable with this, Cody.
Christmas also wanted to go evict her, so maybe he's hoping that maybe Cody knows something. Maybe he had a talk with Nicole, whatever it is. I know, that Tyler and Cody are somewhat obviously working together in the committee. They don't have as many sort of bro down sessions as Cody and Enzo over here, anything like that. But for some reason, I feel like Cody would be happier to keep Tyler around, which I think is a big mistake.
Yeah, keeping Tyler around is a mistake for a lot of people because Tyler's so good. This guy's not going to lose a lot of competitions. What we haven't seen yet competition-wise, and it is a competition that you really, really love immensely.
Yep.
I'm even bringing it up in context because I have heard Nicole even say that she is worried about Tyler in that slip and slide competition, that he would do really, really well.
Yeah. And I think that, if Cody was playing that, I think he'd also do really well, but of course he's not going to be able to play. But if Tyler can play, that is not going to be good for anybody else.
One other competition to sort of be aware of here. BB Comics. It's pretty physical. You got to move around and run. Tyler is very, very smart. Tyler can do really, really well. We don't know if they're going to have BB Comics this season, but they tend to have it every year at this particular point.
Yeah, and after having 2 HOHs and 2 vetoes that were exactly the same thing in a row, I think they're going to want to have something that's a little more fun. We also haven't had hide and go veto yet either.
Yeah, and that's the easiest for production, unless they're afraid of having to clean too much in this particular era or whatever. Yeah. But I could see them doing that. The last major thing to get into here, Nicole did a monologue with all of us. Everybody's favorite, listening to Nicole do monologues. And, she mentions in here, getting rid of Ian was a bad idea. Well, Nicole, you voted to evict him. You were the reason that this happened. You and Danny both, sure, but you could have put Danny in a tight spot and you did not.
Getting rid of Ian was the end of her game and Danny's game. They both had a shot at that point to turn things in their direction, and this is exactly how it was going to end up. The two of them with a bunch of bros in Christmas, and that they were just going to get voted out. And we already lost Danny. Nicole's, she's feeling herself right now, but she's not in a great spot. She's not in the worst spot, but she's not in a super great spot that if she makes it to the end, she wins.
She's in a spot where if she makes it fairly far at this point, it's just going to be because she got some good fortune with other people winning things. It's until I see her win a comp against some of these other people, I know she's won some stuff in the past, but with these people, she has not.
No, and I think that we are probably coming up to something more physical, like a BB Comics or a slip and slide or something that is not going to favor Nicole.
I'm going to be really upset if they do a slip and slide and it's not on the feeds. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
I agree.
I will march down to CB. No, I'm not going to do that.
No,
but
we're not doing that.
No, I will be just very sad. I was trying to think of something else. No, I don't really actually want to leave the house. So that is where we are. Those are the nominations. But let us know what you guys think about them. Who do you want to see win the veto? Share that in the comments. I'm kind of rooting for Tyler at this point, just to win the veto. Enzo still, I'm kind of team Enzo. I've still got to get over the vote last time. He could have gotten rid of Nicole.
Yeah, he could have. He could have made some big flashy move that would have made all of the fandom be like, ah! Except for the Nicole fans, of course. But I still think he made the right choice for his game. I do.
You're probably right. I just wanted the drama.
And I understand. I totally get it. The drama would have been awesome, but I'm just looking at it from a game standpoint. Yeah. He's working with Cody. Nicole's working with Cody. They're working together. It would have been a bad move for him.
As Enzo says, it is what it is, But if you guys want to support us
if there was something that was off the feeds where Enzo set up Tyler and Christmas to go vote and we just didn't see it and he let them hang them out to dry, just give them the money now.
That would be diabolical. That really would be a really interesting move.
It would be, except I think that the two of them would have straight up been like, Enzo told us to do that. That would have been coming out, and it hasn't.
Probably. Well, we will see, and support us further if you guys enjoyed this. Just check out those links to the store and our Patreon. We'll see you guys here next time.